there's a blue unfolding between Bluey the dog, the country's most famous redhead, and the son of a crocodile hunter. Pauline Hanson's One Nation has received a legal letter from lawyers representing Robert Irwin threatening action unless a politically motivated cartoon airing on its YouTube channel is taken down. Here's a sample of it.
Well, luckily here in the state of Queensland, it's only 50 cents a bus ride. Well, I guess that doesn't really help us folks out here in the country at all. But that's all right, because now we get to walk the beautiful Bruce Highway. Oh, no! Bluey! Careful of the potholes, Bluey! Lucky the state of Queensland's got a world-class medical system. Back of the line! How long's the wait? 6 months? Oi, Bluey, you dog! Oh, no! It's them juvenile delinquents again! Oh, no! Bluey's being bashed! Well, lucky for us, we've got an awesome premier here in the state of Queensland! Oh, man! I can't believe this is the state of Queensland!
All right. Well, you can't help but laugh, right? Maybe not. Not if you're Robert Irwin. You've taken it very seriously and you've taken offence to it. So you've lawyered up and sent a legal letter to Pauline Hanson and her team saying that ad needs to come down. Pauline Hanson, the One Nation leader, joins me now. Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Gary. G'day. Good morning.
Hey, first up, I mean, the actual ads, the way that they're put together, the artwork, etc., is pretty impressive. Where does it sort of come from?
Comes from Stepmates. They've been doing our cartoons now for the past 3 years. We're in the third season now, so there's over 85 cartoons that have been done over the past, like I said, 2.5, 3 years. So anyway, it's very well received by the public. They love our cartoons, very informative, informing what's happening with politics, and that's what this cartoon's all about too.
Had you ever put Robert Irwin into one of your cartoons before, do you know?
No, he's never been one of our cartoons before, but he's just been paid, by the state government to, tourism, and we thought, well, okay, leading up to Queensland state election, this is what Queensland's all about, and the problems that we have there are terrible. So anyway, Robert Irwin has got nothing to do with One Nation, not a member of the party. I've never met the young man, but I'd say to Robert, lighten up, mate, okay? Steve, your father was an icon. He actually was a larrikin. He used to have a laugh. He just joked us all off. And I just think it's ridiculous. It's not depicting Robert in a terrible way whatsoever. I haven't done that. I would never do that. And it's about showing up the state, the condition that it's in under this current state government. Would
Robert Irwin, though, or has he indicated that he would be a supporter of Stephen Miles's government? Is that what this is about, that he'd be concerned that he's being shown up as someone that would have a problem with the government?
Look, possibly that may be it. I can't say that. All I know is he's been signed up to do the tourism ad for Queensland. And, we haven't had any letter of demand or defamation from Bluey at all.
Yeah.
But, from Steve Irwin.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting, isn't it, actually?
Yeah. So we have, a cartoon character, if it's 10% different to the original that's been put up there, it's not breach of copyright. But the fact is that I just don't feel it's not defamatory towards Robert Irwin at all, and he's got no association with One Nation at all, and doesn't depict that he's part of One Nation. But if you're going to be promoting Queensland and leading into the election, as I have done with all my cartoons, if people look at our cartoons, they are really telling people about the situation of the country, whether it's politics, the federal. We've depicted mostly Anthony Albanese all the time. Before that, it was Scott Morrison and the other politicians. So we're getting a message out to people to explain to them about politics, what's happening in the country, and we haven't had any problems before this. But I refuse to take it down. I'm not taking it down. The message is about Queensland, the state of Queensland, and I'd like Robert to work with me rather than against me, because, we're both Queenslanders, we love Queensland, and let's try and clean it up and get a better result for the people.
Now, of course, the legal letter that's been received is full of legalese. It says that you are potentially liable to our client in respect of defamation, deceptive use of a person's image, passing off and misleading deceptive conduct. We will commence legal action unless you take that video down immediately. Have you got a deadline as far as you know as to when it should come down?
Yeah, this afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And which, I haven't taken it down and I won't be. Just on Twitter alone, yesterday morning it was up to 2.5 million views on
What?
Twitter alone, let alone everything else. It's actually reached international because Steve Irwin is an icon. So anyway, it's reached those heights as well. So, yes, it's got a lot of coverage. People who never even knew about our cartoons are actually tuning in to watch the cartoons. They think they're absolutely hilarious. And the backlash against Robert Irwin is absolutely amazing. Most people are supporting me. And those people out there who say, about me, to shoot us on the other foot. Gary, I've had so much rubbish thrown at me over the years,
Yep.
Written up in papers that I was a witch, I should be burnt at the stake. I've been taken for to the human rights and everything that's happened. The cartoons that were depicted of me years ago were absolutely appalling. Absolutely appalling, disgusting. And then the Pulling Pants Down song. Mm-hmm. Yes, I had an injunction against the song, but I never took him for defamation. That song was absolutely disgusting and appalling. I've never, depicted Robert Irwin in that light whatsoever. I've even had people portraying my image to sell Bitcoin. I have nothing to do with it. Did I go and chase them? No, I haven't. So, there's a lot of things my image has been used for in a horrible, nasty, vindictive way, but I've just said, okay, I wear it. I've got thick skin. As I say to Robert Irwin, just toughen up, mate.
Now, okay, so there's the deadline, as you just talked about there. From the point of view of defending it, though, are you ready to? Given, and I'll say this, Pauline.
Yes, I am.
Well, it's worked, hasn't it? I mean, it's got, as you just said, lots of hits in terms of the video. They've actually done you a favour with this, haven't they?
Well, I'll admit, yes, they have. The fact is, shone a light on Queensland, the problems that we have there, juvenile crime, the hospitals a mess, rental accommodation, the roads are absolutely disgusting. Aboriginals taking over control of our beaches, some of the beaches there, ownership of the beaches. This is ongoing in Queensland. Yes, I wanted to shine a light on Queensland, but I didn't do this thinking that I would cop this backlash. But I'm not backing down from it, Gary, and I will see it through to the courts. I've got one of the best lawyers in the country who's acted for me in other cases, and I said, this is not defamatory. So I will fight it, and I think the people are behind me too.
All
and,
right.
It's satirical. Surely we can have we become so precious that we actually are looking at, ourselves all the time without having a joke? Where's the Australia that I grew up in that you could have a laugh, have a joke at yourself? And what I'm saying is the joke is not on Steve Irwin, on Robert Irwin, okay? It's about hitting the state government, the condition of our state, and that was my message.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I'll put it out there to our listeners, just a pub test, 133 882. Do you think that Robert Irwin's got this wrong, to be precious about his image being used? Can I, just before I let you go, you were here, of course, over the last few days, and one of the issues that you went to sort of bang the drum about was wind farms off our southwest coast. We've got to have them, don't we? Don't we have to have wind farms in order to...
No, we don't.
Transition?
Please, no. Transition, wind farms and solar panels won't deliver the power that we have. They only deliver up to 30% power because they don't have the sun or the wind that blows most of the time. So 70% of the power must come from the gas or from coal-fired gas power stations. And you're having trouble now in the state with escalating power prices. The people that are making money out of it is the multinationals that are setting up these renewables. In the last 10 years, the federal government has paid out $29 billion in subsidies to the renewables. This is not the way to go. And the people were saying that they're concerned about what's going to happen. When they finish the time, are they just going to be cut down and left to lie on the bed of the ocean floor? No, this is not the way to go with it. And to build a wind turbine, it takes 270 tonnes of coal, and also it's 800 tonnes of concrete that goes in the base to hold it up. So there is other ways to deliver the power that we need. A lot of countries are getting rid of the wind turbines now. We seem to be, always lagging behind. We can't learn from what's happening overseas, other countries, but it's a waste. It's too many people are making money out of it at the cost of the taxpayer and rising electricity costs. Let's get it right.
Are you a fan of nuclear energy?
Yes, I am.
Right.
And we have to head down that pathway, but I want a diversity of power. We can even have coal emissions-free, 90% emissions-free coal-fired power stations. The new ones can be built to deliver that. We have the resources here in this country, but also look at adversity. I'm not against solar and I'm not against wind farms, but people are forcing the farmers out of their farming sector, and they're actually forcing them to put up wind turbines and solar panels on farms they couldn't clear to grow food, but they can clear to put in solar panels, which, you know, once it leaches into the soil is a poison cadmium from solar panels. So what are they going to do with it? Anything you can do with solar panels and wind turbines is bury it in the ground. That's it. That's another problem for the environment. But no one wants to talk about that. We have to get it right, Gary.
Well, the debate's going to rage. The debate's going to rage up into that 2025 election. No doubt about that. We can't run this country on just wind and solar alone, and people have to realise that. And climate change is an utter scam. Realise that there is climate changing, but it's not through humans. 97% of our carbon emissions comes from the natural environment, the sea and the land. All right. Pauline Hanson, thanks very much for joining us.
Okay. My pleasure.
Pauline
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. What do you think about the ad, folks? You heard me play some of it. Do you think that Robert Irwin, he's actually shone a magnificent magnifying glass on that ad, and it's now going global? Sometimes when you go to the lawyers, it backfires, doesn't it? Because it gets the attention that the actual people who are putting it out there would like. Justin Quill is one such lawyer. He's a partner at major law firm Thompson Gear Lawyers, and he knows his stuff when it comes to media law. G'day, Justin.
Yeah, g'day, Gary. Yeah, one such lawyer, but I wouldn't have advised that this letter of demand should have been sent. I think it's a massive backfire, as you've suggested.
Okay, just the wording of it. I've got it in front of me. You are potentially liable to our client in respect of defamation, deceptive use of a person's image, passing off and misleading and deceptive conduct. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, look, everything really turns on whether the average punter looking at this video would think that that Irvin endorsed it and okayed it and authorised it. If he didn't, then it's obviously just a political statement by Pauline Hanson and One Nation, and therefore it wouldn't be defamatory, and it's not passing off, and it's not false and misleading and all the deceptive conduct and all of that sort of thing.
Right.
So it all turns on that one issue. I think it is absolutely clear as day, and all the people who would have been receiving this video are the sort of people who would receive Pauline Hanson's other videos, and they would be aware that, Anthony Albanese or Peter Dutton or all the other people that appear in those other videos were not authorising what was being said in those videos either. So I think it's pretty clear, and it is a case of it backfiring. You look at Ben Roberts-Smith and Bruce Lerman. Yep. Now, I'm not suggesting that Robert Irving is anywhere near in their category, of course, but just in terms of people who want to bring cases to court or at least threaten it, it can really backfire. It's called the Streisand effect. Barbara Streisand brought a case to court many years ago and tried to keep secret where her house was, and by doing it, she had thousands of people out the front of her house, within a week, because everyone then knew exactly where she lived. It amplified the very issue. That's why it's called the Streisand effect.
So what about this letter that says, this line in the letter that says, we are concerned that the unlawful use of our client's image may be an attempt to pass off yourself or party as currently being affiliated or otherwise authorised by us.
That's the critical issue here, and for good reason. That is the law in Australia. Telstra can't get Ariana Titmus and say and throw her up on a TV commercial, or Qantas or whoever it might be. No. Can't get someone to throw them up on a commercial, and that's called passing off. It's really trying to say you're using their image and pretending that person is authorising or saying that they're affiliated with Telstra or Qantas in my hypothetical example.
Yep.
And so that would be a valid claim if it wasn't so obvious, as I think it is, that he is not authorising this, that he's not, okaying it. It's just so obvious. It's clearly a parody, a joke.
Mate, out of interest, and this is a question I might take into the future as well, if at the end of the cartoon it simply came up with something along the bottom that said this cartoon was in no way endorsed or authorised by Robert Irwin, would that cover you?
Look, it would certainly help and put even more beyond doubt, but I actually just don't think it's necessary.
Right.
But yeah, if it's in doubt. If it's in doubt, you could put that in, and that will probably assist. But I just think the cartoon is such, and I must admit, when I first read about this, I sort of thought, oh, okay, right, there might be a claim here. Okay, I then went to YouTube and was one of the, I imagine, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of people that wouldn't have otherwise saw it, but now am watching it.
Yep.
I went to YouTube, I looked at it, and within 5 seconds of watching it, I wasn't even halfway through it, and I realised this is clearly not something authorised, a spoof, a parody, a joke. And so I think that's the end of it in my view. I think the claim is really weak. Now, can I just say, I'll just pretend I'm wrong about all of that, and they were able to prove that there was, people thought, that he authorised it. He says the Commonwealth government paid me, the Queensland government paid me a disgusting amount of money. That's probably the high point of it, or the low point, if you're Steve Irwin, son Robert. If you're him, that's the worst of it. Well, that's probably an opinion. If it's defamatory of him, it's probably protected by an opinion defence. No doubt Pauline Hanson and One Nation would say, well, we think it is a disgusting amount of money. Yeah. And number two, it's probably protected by the political discussion, free speech defence. So I've got to say, I think on any view, the defamation claim is a bit of a dead duck, and I think as is the passing off claim, because I think that's pretty obvious that he's not authorised this. All
right, it's interesting because I thought the action might come from Bluey, the people behind Bluey. That's where I thought it might come from. To be honest, they got big deep pockets. That's where I thought it might come from, but it hasn't.
Look, I mean, they would probably have a better claim, and it would probably, it's certainly not going to be in defamation, of course, but there could be some trademark infringement or something like that. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we sort of really sat down and analysed it, if their claim was a little bit better. And you never know, we might hear from them. Now that it's been amplified, they might jump in. And One Nation could get a letter about it. But as things currently stand, I don't think the claim that's been suggested is a good one.
All right, Justin Quill, thanks very much for your insight. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, now we'll find out, I suppose, at 3 o'clock our time.